The 21-mile waterway that can shake the world economy. What if a strip of water only 21 miles wide could shake the entire world economy? Every single day, billions of dollars worth of oil, gas, and goods move through one narrow channel between Iran and Oman. If this tiny waterway is blocked, flights become more expensive, food prices rise, electricity costs increase, and the cost of daily life jumps across the world. This is not just a sea route. This is the Strait of Hormuz, the most important and dangerous waterway on Earth. The Strait of Hormuz connects the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea, making it the only major route through which Gulf oil reaches the rest of the world. And that alone makes it one of the most powerful places in global history. Today, around 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow passage. That means what happens here can affect petrol prices in Nigeria, airline tickets in Europe, food transportation in Asia, and electricity bills almost everywhere. But the power of Hormuz did not begin with oil. Long before modern tankers, this waterway was already one of the world's most valuable trade routes. Ancient merchants sailed through these waters carrying silk, spices, pearls, precious metals, and Arabian horses. For centuries, whoever controlled this route controlled wealth. Then in 1507, the Portuguese arrived. Armed with powerful ships and cannons, they captured the island kingdom of Hormuz and built a fortress overlooking the strait. Their goal was simple: control trade between east and west and collect wealth from every ship that passed. For over a century, Portugal used Hormuz like a gatekeeper of world commerce. But power never stays in one hand forever. In 1622, Shah Abbas of Persia formed an alliance with the English East India Company. Together, they attacked the Portuguese fortress and drove them out. The message was already clear centuries ago. Hormuz was worth fighting for. As time passed, empires rose and fell, but the strategic value of this narrow waterway only grew stronger. Then the 20th century changed everything. Massive oil reserves were discovered beneath the lands surrounding the Persian Gulf. Suddenly, Hormuz was no longer just a trade route. It became the main artery of the modern global economy. The world's industries, vehicles, airplanes, and power stations began depending on oil shipped through this narrow corridor. A passage only 21 miles wide had become the heartbeat of global energy. Then came 1979. The Iranian Revolution transformed the politics of the region and turned the Strait of Hormuz into a geopolitical pressure point. For the first time in modern history, the possibility of closing the strait became a real global fear. Only a year later, during the Iran-Iraq War, that fear turned into violence. Both sides began attacking oil tankers and commercial vessels in what became known as the Tanker War. Ships burned. Explosions lit up the Gulf. Insurance prices soared. Oil prices rose. And the world watched nervously. More than 100 vessels were damaged or destroyed during this period. Soon, major powers stepped in. The United States and its allies began escorting tankers through the strait with naval warships, determined to keep the oil flowing. Because if Hormuz stopped, the world economy could feel it within hours. And that remains true today. Even in the 21st century, the Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most tense flashpoints. Warships patrol it. Drones monitor it. Missiles are positioned around it. And every political crisis in the region sends markets into panic. Because even the rumor of closure is enough to send oil prices upward. And when oil rises, everything else follows. Flights become more expensive. Food transportation costs increase. Factories pay more for energy. Electricity becomes costlier. And ordinary families around the world feel the pressure. This is why the Strait of Hormuz matters so much. It is not just about ships moving through water. It affects how much people pay to travel, eat, power their homes, and live their daily lives. From ancient traders and Portuguese forts to modern oil tankers and military fleets, one truth has remained unchanged. Small places can hold enormous power. The Strait of Hormuz is proof that geography can shape history, economics, and even the cost of everyday survival. A narrow waterway in the Middle East silently influences the global economy every single day.